Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shina the Shades. Today I'm going to be talking about the deadly sins of a tech bro. I know a couple of people that are going to be watching this video. Majority of you are people who have learned tech skills. But this is actually spread across to any skill you're actually or any skill you're actually engaged in the entirety of your life. So stay tuned while I actually get to express myself on the basis of what these sins are. The first deadly sin I want to talk about is pride. There come a point in your life where you're trying to learn this skill, this tech skill to be precise, and you had an opportunity to reach out to someone who is a little bit ahead of you or someone who is maybe at the peak of his career. At a certain point in your life, you learn this skill and you decided to pull out. That's not the problem. But there come a point in time where you begin to act as if you're trying to outshine your master in the game. But let me tell you something, it's really a bad thing to do. And I will give you a reason why you need to respect the people who are ahead of you. They are ahead of you when it comes to the idea of the fact that they know what's going on in the labor market. They understand how to actually negotiate. They understand what it means to actually build architecture. They understand what it means to actually manage a team. They understand what it means to actually be accountable and responsible and making sure that it's actually applied to their work ethics. They understand a lot of things about building relationship that you don't even have an idea of, and you're trying to burn bridges. To be honest with you, you actually are now going to go too far when it comes to the space, and you keep on living in a horizontal slate instead of actually having a progressive mindset when it comes to the aspect of tech. You actually end up disrespecting people because of the fact that you seem to be using the better technology than any other individual in this life. Meanwhile, a technology is just actually meant to solve a certain problem for your users, and it's not even necessarily about you. You need to calm down. You need to put your head right. You need to settle down and actually focus on the idea of the fact that this thing is not even about you. It's about solving problems. And if eventually it happens to be that this problem is actually solved, the credit goes to you. But you need to be humble in such a kind of situation because it's a crazy deal for you to put yourself in a position where you feel like you are God. Because there's no idea of you getting to realize transition on whoever have taught you and how you can even be able to teach people who are behind you. It has even gotten to a point where people have actually, because of the fact that they've made a lot of research on trying to solve problems and all those stuff, some people have actually taken it to a point where they begin to search for spiritual, they call it soul searching. And from there, they decide to change their religion from, they decide to change from Christianity to being an atheist. This thing, there's nothing special about this skill. It is just a skill. It is like every coding is just like every other skill. There's no difference between you coding and somebody who is doing a bricklaying work. It's as simple as it is. There's no difference. The only difference in there is that you are actually paid 100x than them. It's as simple as it is. Have you seen a skillful bricklayer before? If you've seen a skillful bricklayer, you take almost 2 years, you can't be able to get as much as him. Yes, and I'm serious about it. So please respect the people who are actually above you. Understand your level of transition and how much they've taught you, how much you've been able to live on your own, and how much you are able to have that progression while learning from them. Don't burn bridges. Do not settle down to burn bridges. I'm happy because of the fact that tech, this idea of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, has actually threatened a couple of you, putting you in a position where you need to see this stuff as trying to up your game and deciding to specialize at cases where you won't be affected. But trust me, watch the next 10 to 15 years and watch how the bubble will burst. Imagine being in a situation where someone all of a sudden just comes with an application and it acts like a threat to even your job. Even if it's not as accurate as it should be at the moment, trust me, imagine the potential between now and the next 15 years. You need to be humble. Honestly, you need to be humble. This is just a skill. It's not a spiritual journey. Tech is not a spiritual journey. It's just a normal thing. Like every normal skill, tailoring skill, bricklaying, carpentry, whatever the case may be. The only difference is the new oil and people are paid more. That's just the only difference. Nothing special about it. It's nothing special, man. Nothing special. The second one is people who are slow and people who don't know how to manage the idea of faking it until you make it. There's some people that when you actually interview them, they put themselves in the position that or more that they can be able to get that job done as quick as possible. But when you give them that job, trust me, they begin to fumble. So I ran at a loss recently at my small business because of the fact that I gave a job to a young developer to do to replicate a couple of screens, about nine screens, and just nine screens, and consume the APIs. This guy has actually spent a month trying to do it, and he has not been able to deliver till date. I actually interviewed about 136 people, but there come a point in time where I was even trying to blame myself in the situation where I felt like, oh, maybe I actually didn't do this. I wasn't strategic about the interview and all those stuff like that. But the crazy thing about it is that sometimes where it can just be an exception for you. And I happen to have actually fallen into such a kind of trouble, and now I'm at a loss. So there are a lot of people, like, trust me, if you cannot get the job done, if you have not put yourself in a position where you can be accountable and responsible for the things you are doing and push yourself to actually get the job done, then please do not actually apply for jobs. Do not put yourself in a position where you actually allow another man's business to suffer. So there was another example of someone while I was actually working on the job. This was back in 2021, and a client reached out to me and said, "I need you to be a back-end engineer for my project." And I'm like, "Oh, nice, good." So he was going to find a front-end developer. So he found someone who would actually get the front end and consume the APIs and all those stuff. So I got to notice something, that because of how slow and how sluggish he actually was, he was trying to like push the responsibility. And there's this thing that developers usually do where you get to throw ball at another person, to where you begin to throw ball at another person. You keep on throwing the ball just to avoid the blame most of the time. So I had the opportunity of working with this guy, and there are sometimes where you are actually done with some certain APIs and you render it to this guy. Because of the fact that he's actually so slow and sluggish and he cannot be able to deliver that feature he's working on, he will now the client will reach out to him for updates, and he will tell the client, hey, why haven't you delivered this stuff? And he will tell the client that there was a bug on my code which I am actually trying to fix at the moment. So when I'm done fixing it, he would actually attend to it. Meanwhile, that's not the truth. The client will come meet me, reach out to me and tell me, hey, Shinada, what's up with the bug? I will ask him, which bug? I'm like, which bug? So there's this thing that developers used to do, especially junior developers, they actually throw blames at people. If you know you cannot be responsible and accountable at situations like that, even if you do not know how to do it and you need help, reach out to people and be transparent with your clients and let your client know. Like, I've noticed that a lot of people, even when they've not done the job before, they'll tell you that they've actually done the job. Meanwhile, they haven't done it before. When they now give them the job to do, they will now begin to start making research. And even if it's not a bad thing, because most of the times, most projects are actually unique. You're supposed to reach out to communities to even help you to get this job done as quick as possible and be transparent with your client that, hey, this is the issue I'm having this way. You now be throwing blames at someone else and be telling them that, oh, this person is supposed to do this one, he has not done it. So you'll be waiting for them. And the funny part about it is we had a communication channel where you can say, hey, Schneider, we have a bug, there's something wrong at the moment. So yeah, push it. But even in as much as he was also doing it, he was also trying to go behind the scene to be throwing balls at me, which do not make any sense. And it's a warning. If you are slow, please actually do not apply for any job. If you're sure that you're actually not going to be accountable and responsible and transparent with whoever you're going to be working with about your capacity and your capabilities to get the job done, please do not even make an attempt to say I can do it. In as much as I'm actually saying all these things, I'm not perfect too, because I've actually been sluggish at a certain point in my life. So, but it's just a warning. It's just an ahead warning. Why? Because it's something I've actually done too. And I'll be transparent with you, I've done it too. Like, I did it back then, and I did it and I had a bad reputation in the UK and also in some part of India. It doesn't make any sense. Don't do it. Don't kill your reputation. It's too early for you to do such a kind of thing. It's too early for you to do it. Another one, I don't know what to call it. I don't know whether to call it envy, or I don't just know what to call this particular one. But let's just give it envy. So I'll tell you a story. Back in 2018, I was teaching a young guy. Yes, I was teaching a set of people within that period. Yes, and I had the opportunity to teach one particular guy like that. And the guy was very, very smart, awesomely smart. Like, I loved the guy to the core. I even felt like, hey, Jesus, I really want to build a relationship with this guy after this entire thing. And I was like, okay, no problem. So at the particular period, we're done. Like, I was done teaching and all those stuff like that. Like I was done with the program and everything, and he wanted to begin to build projects on his own. And I knew, like I know his capabilities. I know the kind of project he can do and the project he cannot do. And the only difference, the only thin line to him having the opportunity to achieve it is by him actually focusing on baby steps to get there. So, but I see no reason why I would actually tell you to learn a basic local storage upload, right? A local basic storage upload, and you are going to do a microservice upload. To me, no, it's crazy. And at a certain period, you just tell me, Schneider, I'm having a problem with something. And when I see what he's doing, I'll be like, no, no, no. Start from baby steps first. Get to upload on your local storage, first of all, on your local machine, before you begin to, like people do not get, like, it's annoying. It's annoying. And you're trying to put yourself in the position of feeling like you just want to burst all of a sudden. You just want to become a senior developer all of a sudden. No, you need to calm yourself down. Learn this stuff in basic, in baby steps. And trust me, if you're in that kind of position and you're doing this kind of thing we're talking about, you're not wanting to learn things in basic steps, it will be hard for you to teach people how you've learned this thing. Trust me, you will never be able to take advantage of the creator economy that we have currently at this moment. Why? Because one of the advantages is you can be able to teach people as effectively as you need to. But because of the fact that you're just jumping and jumping and jumping, you even go to lie to these young guys that tech is easy. You will convince them that tech is the way. And at the same time, you can't be able to even teach them or guide them. So I remember a certain period while I was physically teaching students, kind of like just young guys. And at several intervals, I've had people go to my hard drive and copy everything in my hard drive, like 500 gig hard drive. Just copy it without permission. Nothing. You just it's crazy. And it has happened like almost 3 to 4 times. And the crazy part about it is almost two of them were acting so defensive and so arrogant for doing such a kind of thing. Like no apologies, nothing. So how do you expect to actually propagate yourself alongside your career to where you are going to? Hey, shit, mate.